Guys, this is Gabriel Lemaine, aka Z/, here at Comic-Con, and here, cradling his work Pacific Rim, Tales from Year Zero, is...
Steve Bird.
How you doing, Steve Bird?
I'm doing pretty well, thanks.
So, you've done several work on Outsiders, Green Arrow, and some work for Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
Could you tell me how you landed the Pacific Rim assignment?
Yes, and thank you for not using the word job. That's excellent when you're talking about Pacific Rim. Definitely a necessity. I've known Bob Schreck for a number of years. He gave me my first work at DC.
Okay.
And he's actually a friend of mine, who I met at comic book conventions back in Atlanta, way back when I was in middle school. So he's the one who introduced me to Bob Schreck. Bob Schreck got me my work at DC. He also got me my work with Pacific Rim.
I see. So, I've always wondered for licensed work like this, especially for a movie that hasn't come out yet,
right?
Like, how was the lead up for it? How do they try to bring you into the world even before the thing is fully realized?
Well, first of all, they told me that I couldn't even tell anyone that I had landed this job.
Sensible.
For quite a while. Well, I thought I could at least say, hey, I'm going to be working on a secret project for the Pacific Rim movie. I couldn't even do that. Like, I couldn't even tell anyone I had anything to do with Pacific Rim for like many months. And then So there was that, and then they did send me the Bible, like the whole big massive PDF thing. But here's the thing, they were so like, if this gets out, you're not only fired, but we will sue you kind of thing. And
serious business.
Yes, and so the copy that I downloaded, it was some kind of technology that superimposed a like watermark of my name on every page, so that if any like screenshot or anything of like that of this gets out there, my name is literally all over the thing. So not figuratively, literally all over every page.
Wow.
So no, and there is so much depth to this universe that they have in there. It is nuts. I don't know how much I can tell you about it now after the movie's out, because there's so much detail about various things. But let's just say that, there was a lot more to killing that kaiju in San Francisco than you see either in the movie or even if you read the graphic novel.
Wow,
the Bible stuff goes into this whole thing of like, oh no, it's not dead yet. We need to try this. We need to do that. Oh no, this other city. And
do they also go into more why, like anything political, like how, hey man, why are we making giant people? This doesn't make sense. I love Power Rangers too, but
I haven't read every word of the Bible, so I don't know if that actually has gotten into. But I think the thought is just that, you have something this big, you need something this big to fight it, since obviously nukes don't work. Well, let me put it this way. It looks in the movie like, oh, we nuked it, that finally did it, but we can't just keep nuking these things. Let me put it this way. That nuke didn't finish the job.
That's
wow. That's I think why they had to go at let's think outside the box. Let's build Voltron. Let's build Optimus Prime. Let's build Gundam, whatever. It's like we need to seriously think nuts here, and that's what actually worked.
Could you tell us a little bit about your art history education?
My art history education. I grew up reading comics and drawing comics, and in college I meant to major in art, but I literally forgot. I realized like right at the end of my junior year, I'm like, is this a Family Safe podcast or
not really?
No, okay. I was like, fuck, I meant to major in art. I totally forgot, and I end up with a history major with a medieval studies concentration. What is that? And then minors in art and minors in physics but I did minor in art. So anyway, after that though, I just got serious and sort of got some people to kind of mentor me, and just started going to every comics convention I could go to and just showing my stuff to everybody who would look at it. And just back in those days before email took everything over, I would get these packets together of my stuff, kind of like this, and I would just like have a day where it's like, okay, I'm gonna make up 100 of these, and I'm gonna put them all in manila envelopes and mail them out to every editor whose name I get my hands on.
That sounds like at least like $40 worth of mail.
Oh yeah, something like, well, then you have to think about all the Xerox costs and buying the envelopes and
Man, that sounds like the 90s sucked.
well, I was trying to get into comics in the 90s, and comics in the 90s pretty much sucked, so that kind of makes sense.
This makes it disturbing. Things are starting to come together now.
Yeah, but so anyway, nowadays I just about every 2 to 4 weeks just send out an email to every editor whose email address I get my hands on and do that. But not at Marvel. They always tell me at Marvel, there's like, dude, send this to the submissions editor. So, but at DC, I send them out to each one individually. So anyway, but yeah, I'm an inker. I used to try to be a penciler and an inker, but I realized after a while my skills just lent themselves towards inking, and so I focused on that, and that's where I am. So,
do you have any current projects you're looking forward to, or?
I am looking forward to new projects.
That's a fair assessment. That's a fair assessment.
I'm between assignments at the moment. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
But I will say, it really makes it a lot cooler to be at a big show like this, New York Comic Con, if you have a New York Times bestseller that just came out a few months earlier, and popular properties. So because last year New York Comic Con sucked for me. I made nothing. And this year, I'm getting a lot of attention. People are buying stuff. So that's a note to myself. I need to make sure to have a New York Times best-selling book on the shelves a couple of months before every show that I do. I don't know why I didn't think of that before, but I'm
yeah,
set
it
now.
doesn't. I don't know. For some
now.
reason, that seems
Dude,
like
I'm set now. I'm set.
I don't know. It seems
It's
like a bit
all
of a
good.
challenge. Forever and ever.
Yeah. It makes the show go so much better. So I'm just gonna make sure to do it. Yeah.
So I'm guessing you've got the
You don't
next.
see any problems with this strategy, do you?
No, I imagine you'll just hop on the licensing train for the next hit movie, and it'll be right there, right behind it, each and every time, just cause.
See, I want to see. Can you turn the camera around for a second to this guy right behind you? This guy is dressed up as the Shocker. Now this is now. Do you now? I know that you're the Spider-Man villain, the Shocker. But you are aware there's another meaning to that these days, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I get that crap from the other villains.
Sorry. Yes. From the other villains?
Yeah.
Yes, very good. So I think it would be interesting if you just went around doing the Shocker all the time in that costume.
Yeah, well, Disney pays Marvel, Marvel pays me. If I do the Shocker, next thing you know, I'm going to get buried under a year's worth of obscurity, and I'm going to be marketing Mickey Mouse dolls.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fair enough.
I'm a villain, but I got my limits.
Okay.
To be truthful, it could be worse. You could be the Wizard. That guy.
The Wizard? Yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't been doing well these days.
Yeah. Well, I would think you two might hang out and get some beers sometimes. It's like. Between him being the Wizard and, you'd have to be pretty drunk to try the Shocker. It's
Those artsy-fartsy intellectual types, they think, oh, I don't want to drink, I don't want to throw off my creative process. Oh, I'm too smart to hang out with you, Shocker. What'd you ever make, just a shockwave gauntlet? Well, last I checked, I kicked Spider-Man's ass more than you beat the Fantastic Four. So
there you go. Well, okay. Anyway, sorry, we're doing a thing. I just saw you, and I just had to. I have completely ruined their podcast now at this point. It is just gone. They're just gonna throw this in the trash. But anyway, so thanks. Live long and Shocker. Okay. Oh well, yeah. Where can he find this when this is all done?
We are the podcast slash a YouTube video of this bookshelf TV. Also, we're on the site called theouterhaven.net.
say that again.
Theouterhaven.net.
Thank you.
See ya. Live long and Shocker. Yes. Okay, sorry. I'm sure you can edit that whole thing out.
Tangents on tangents on tangents on tangents. I can clearly see that it's this focus that has led you to the top of the New York Times bestseller list.
Well, that's part of it, though. When you're inking, it keeps you. There's not much else you can do. It's just you look at the page. The story is already told. All you need to do is make it clear. So that way, those tangents, you can let your brain do whatever it wants to do while you just focus on what you're doing. And actually, I love reading. Do you have any idea how many audiobooks I read while doing this because I listened to them on 2 times speed. So I like got through massive ass books. I read Dune in like 3 days while working on this.
Wow.
Yeah. So I had it on double speed in my ear while I was working on this. And yeah, if you're doing it for like 8 hours a day, double speed, that's like 16 hours of story a day. And that's like 30, 40 some, yeah, you finish it in like 3
I have
days.
to ask, with that process, do you listen to, say, the audiobooks with like the themed voice? So listening to, say, James Earl Jones at double speed kind of loses a bit of its punch.
I don't listen to all of them at super speed, but some that are very slow. There's this one audiobook reader named Scott Brick, who has this very slow, deliberate delivery, and he read the Dune one, and so
Wait, is it like this? Star City has endured.
Oh, no.
Oh.
No. So here's my Scott Brick impression. So, hey, Scott Brick, if you ever get out there, this is my impression of you. It's like, Star City has endured all manner of threats over the years. But when a millionaire wants to bring... Now, actually, he actually has a little bit more of a... I don't want to say monotone because he has some emotion to it, but he has, let me put it this way, he also read the audiobook for iRobot, and he was perfect for the audiobook of iRobot. He was born for that role. No, he's done a lot of stuff. He's done, anyway, that's another tangent there. But yeah, so
I can clearly see how your mind works now.
Yeah, but I listened to Red Mars. That's like another massive science fiction tome. And Red Mars, by the way, awesome book. Read it. So all kinds of stuff. So that's what I do. So I'm letting that occupy one part of my brain. This occupies another part of my brain. They have nothing to do. The 2 parts of my brain have nothing to do with each other. It's like my language center is doing one thing, my art center is doing the other thing, and I'm a machine.
All right. It's been amazing speaking with you, all right?
Oh, sorry, I got the... Okay, wait. Can I do that again? See, I thought it was this, and then possibly this.
I change it up. I usually just see if people roll with it.
There we go.
This works.
Not me. Man... And then I'm like, oh, hey, how you doing? I don't know how to do the thing.
This is Gabriel Lemaine, a.k.a. Z/, signing off.